Creating impactful and lasting change is a mission, a vision, and a movement. Welcome to Nonprofit Voices of Impact, the show that will delve into the heart of the nonprofit world, showcasing the leaders and change makers who are driving meaningful transformation in our community. Through engaging interviews, real-life success stories, and valuable insights, this podcast highlights the passion, innovation, and dedication that fuels nonprofits across Westchester County. Whether you're a nonprofit leader or advocate, Nonprofit Voices of Impact empowers you with the knowledge and inspiration to make a powerful difference. I'm your host, Dr. Marsha Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and I'm joined by my co-host, Linda Tyler, Vice President of Membership and Programs, Business Council of Westchester. Nonprofit Voices of Impact is sponsored by New York Presbyterian and PCSB Bank. Thank you for your support of the BCW Podcast Network. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. PCSB Bank's array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted Best in Business Banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., PCSB Bank's commitment to serving consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester. New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite.
On today's episode, we're highlighting 2 organizations that play essential roles in the economic mobility and family stability in Westchester. I'm Linda Tyler, Vice President of Membership and Programs for the Business Council of Westchester, and your host today. The Women's Enterprise Development Center, WEDC, and the Child Care Council of Westchester are our guests. And we're joined by 2 remarkable leaders, Nikki Hahn, MPA and CEO of the Women's Enterprise Development Center, and Laura Newman, Executive Director of the Child Care Council of Westchester. Welcome, ladies. Thank you both for being here. Both of your organizations play a critical role in ensuring women, families, entrepreneurs, and child care providers can thrive, and their work has never been more essential. I'd like to talk to you both a little bit about your roles in your organizations. Laura, shall we start with you? Tell us a little bit about the Child Care Council and what you do there.
Sure, I'd love to. I've been with the Child Care Council for only a year and learned so much about the incredible work that our staff is doing in the whole sector of childcare. A lot of our main constituency really are the child care providers themselves. And so the impact our work has a ripple effect out into each family, each child, and then all of their families, which is really incredible.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute, because you are such a great resource for both child care providers, the licensing, the education, whatever resources they need, and of course the families who are looking for great child care. Nikki, let's talk about WEDC and your role there.
Sure. Thank you for having me today. So I'm the CEO of WEDC. I joined the team back in 2019 as the Director of Development, and I've served as the CEO for the last 4 years. Our organization has been around for nearly 30 years, serving the small business community throughout Westchester and the greater Hudson Valley region. And we do that by providing small business training, mentoring, networking, and access to capital. And we do our programs both in English and in Spanish.
And I've also really been so impressed with the work that both organizations do in just really providing the support. We have a very strong, here at the Business Council of Westchester, small business entrepreneurial community, and it's not for sissies. There's a lot of work that goes into entrepreneurship, and I always admire the great work our small businesses do, and I know you provide incredible support. Why don't we talk a little bit, Nikki, about the trends you are seeing among women entrepreneurs today, and how is WEDC meeting those emerging needs?
Sure, absolutely. So we're seeing that many women are entering entrepreneurship out of necessity. They need to create flexible, sustainable income that fits their families' lives. A lot of folks left the corporate world during COVID, and they need to generate revenue to support their families. Secondly, we're seeing that women are starting home-based businesses and service-based businesses. They're turning, what used to be a hobby into a revenue-generating income stream for their families. And then finally, we're seeing that women especially are seeking mentorship. Being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner can be very lonely. Often you wear lots of hats, you work very long hours, definitely not for the faint of heart. And it takes, a lot of consistency and grit. And that's a lonely place to be sometimes. And so mostly women, but we serve men too, come to WEDC and they seek support and camaraderie among their small business peers.
And thank you for the great work you're doing.
Thank
Laura,
you.
We're hearing that the entire child care system is broken. What do you think is the big fix for these problems, and what can be done on a local level to make these improvements?
Yeah, that's a big question there. I'll start with the local level and maybe work my way backwards, because WEDC and the Child Care Council have had some synergies where we've been able to work together, because interestingly, some of the child care providers who are operating a small child care program in their house, or maybe in a rental house even, they're really entrepreneurs in their own right, but they don't necessarily see themselves that way. They see themselves as a childcare provider, and that's partly the reflection of how society sees them, as not as valuable as, let's say, somebody who has a tech startup or something, right, in their basement. But in fact, the childcare providers that are doing home-based businesses are really filling in a huge gap where otherwise there would never be enough childcare for everybody who needs it. So even with them in Westchester County, we're kind of fortunate that we don't have too much of a lack of spots for childcare, but we do have a system that doesn't pay its workers adequately. And so there's constant turnover. It's not good for the children. It's bad for businesses. It's hard for the families who have the need for the childcare. There's constant turnover in the workforce in childcare. And the regulations that are needed to keep children safe make it very expensive to operate a childcare business. So the costs have just gone up astronomically, and you're seeing people dropping out of the workforce, mostly women dropping out of the workforce. 500,000 women dropped out of the workforce last year alone, specifically because they could not afford childcare anymore.
And that's a shame, and that's a big problem to tackle. And I know you're both working hard to figure out solutions. Not easy solutions, unfortunately, but solutions. I would love for you
but
both.
if I could piggyback on that for just a second,
Please
Linda.
do.
So WEDC has been really fortunate to partner with the Child Care Council of Westchester, but also up in the Hudson Valley to support, as Laura mentioned, these are small business owners. They think of themselves as babysitters and child care providers, but they're in fact running small businesses. And so we've provided training, mostly financial assistance training and cash flow and understanding really their financial picture to childcare providers for years. And it's really important that they see themselves as business owners, that they're able to operate like a business so that they can be sustainable. Because to your point, we're all moms here, and we know the importance and the value of appropriate childcare.
You know, I was saying to Laura earlier, as I have two grown children, and I have so many fond memories of their childhood and raising them. But the one piece I don't miss as now that they're adults is finding good childcare. That's very stressful. It truly is. And you're absolutely right. As a good reminder, the childcare businesses are absolutely businesses. They generate jobs. They generate income into the economy and should definitely be recognized as such. And I would love for the two of you to talk a little bit about the Westchester project both the Child Care Council and WEDC are involved in to elevate support for home-based childcare providers. I know you touched upon that a little bit because they are small businesses and have all of the needs any other small business has. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Laura, I can start and then please jump in.
Sure.
So we're partnering with the Acceleration Project, the Child Care Council, All Our Kin, and WEDC. We're the 4 resource partners involved in this collaborative project. And we're developing a really robust ecosystem and hub of programs and services to support the childcare businesses. We've gotten together and we've looked at all of the different programs that we all provide and have thought a lot about how they fit together and who they will best serve. And our next step is really getting that information out into the community so childcare providers know what resources and support are available to them. They feel very comfortable taking advantage of it before they really truly need it so that we can, help elevate their business acumen. I think it's a really exciting project. You mentioned, the need for appropriate skilled childcare providers. It enables women to go back to work. So it's not just taking, good care and educating our children, but it means women are able to be in the workplace. They're able to start businesses. They're able to contribute to their families. It is the very foundation of our economy, in my mind.
1,000% and full circle. And Laura, would you like to, expand upon that a little bit more too?
Yeah, well, I would also, because your title of your podcast is the Nonprofit Voices of Impact, it's very interesting that the 4 organizations that were brought together by the New York Community Trust, the Westchester chapter, which has funded us, we were remiss to not thank them. But it's a very good example of 4 organizations collaborating, trying not to step on each other's toes, to not duplicate. If Nikki can have programs that teach small childcare providers how to operate their taxes and do their accounting work, and the council can teach them how to do health and safety and make sure that the children's milk is stored properly and those kinds of things, and another organization can bring them computer skills, great, let's all work together. There's plenty of work for everybody. It's not like I'm going to say, please don't do that because it's my territory. We're like really great examples of partners that want to work together in the nonprofit sector.
I am a huge believer in the power of referral partners, and that's literally what you're doing right now. I can do this and help you with this, our organization, and you should go to that organization for this and that, and it's full circle. 100%. And I always say, you don't know what you don't know. So somebody's coming to Nikki, she may start there and say, I want to start this business, what's next? And then she can do her piece with her organization and then refer you to Laura and so on and so on. And then all of a sudden, somebody's very, very well equipped. And that sort of dovetails into my next question, Nikki. You offer multi-stage training programs at WEDC to help entrepreneurials start, strengthen, and scale their businesses. What programs are most in demand right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say 2 programs. Our core program is our Entrepreneur Growth Lab. It is a 15-week program that meets once a week. We do it in English and in Spanish, and it's cohort-based. We run 6 cohorts a year, and it's heavily focused on the business model canvas. The clients put together a marketing plan, projected financials, and it culminates with a pitch contest where we're very fortunate to be able to provide cash prizes. That's really for the aspiring entrepreneur who thinks they have a business idea but wants to flesh out if it's actually viable. So that's hot right now. It's definitely in high demand. But we're also seeing people coming to our Be Your Own Boss program, which is a 2-hour workshop where you're kind of, figuring out what does it take to be a business owner? What kinds of things should I be thinking about? That's very popular. We do it on Zoom and in person. We just did one in Ulster County recently where I think we had 60 people come to it. Some people are wanting to dip their toes into the space and see what it's all about. And we're like you said, we're happy to support them at all stages. We also offer advanced business programs and support. We can help small business owners access capital. And I feel really proud that our programs are offered in both English and Spanish.
Absolutely. And it's multifaceted in every way possible. We are going to take a short break, and then Laura, we're going to go back and talk a little bit about, as a new parent or expecting parent, when they are looking for great childcare, what are the steps? What do they need to do? And we will be back in just a few minutes.
New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester. New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains. And and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. PCSB Bank's array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted best in business banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., PCSB Bank's commitment to serving consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to the BCW Podcast Network. You're listening to Nonprofit Voices of Impact. Today we're speaking with Nikki Hahn, MPA and CEO of the Women's Enterprise Development Center, WETC, and Laura Newman, Executive Director of the Child Care Council of Westchester. We're talking about strengthening families, supporting entrepreneurs, and building a strong economy. Laura, let's start with you. Let's talk a little bit about what parents should be thinking about and what they should do as they are either expecting a baby or have a brand new baby, and they're thinking about what their childcare needs are as they plan to go back to work. What are some steps that parents should be taking?
Yeah, it's interesting because in New York City, they're joking about, before you even meet your spouse, you should sign up for childcare because it's so difficult to get. And a lot of that answer really depends on how much money you have, unfortunately. And, Westchester is often a tale of two counties where wealthy people have access to the services and programs and everything they need, whereas poor people and more increasingly middle-class people are not having the same access. And that's going to have a long-term effect on our children. So, if it depends what your socioeconomic class your parents are in will determine what kind of childcare you get, then you're going to have a long-term impact. The most brain development happens in a child between 0 and 3. And strangely, we have public school for everybody after age 4-ish or 5, but between 0 and, let's say, 4 or 5, it's kind of up to the parents. And so that's going really to depend on your personal situation. But any new parents or people expecting can always call the Child Care Council for referrals to childcare that it meets their needs. They might select a certain geographic area or a size or whatever hours are available in the childcare. Today is Giving Tuesday, and I'm just like, every nonprofit person sitting around going, oh, please, somebody just drop $1 million on my organization. And if somebody were to do that, I would really like to bring to Westchester a great technological solution like an app that would allow people to find childcare quickly and easily. In my office, they talk about if you're sitting there nursing your baby and you have your phone and you're scrolling and you're going, oh my God, where am I going to find childcare? If you just had an app to do that and it had everything at your fingertips, it would really ease the stress for people. So I'm looking for that investor to help me with that. And then I would bring my same 4 partners from the other project and get this thing going.
I love it. And today is Giving Tuesday, and that's a great point. Anybody out there thinking about, how they want to donate or where, Laura's got a fabulous idea. So now, Nikki, what about you? If someone dropped $1 million in your lap today, what would you do with it?
Sure, we would. I could only be so lucky. First of all, we would invest directly in building long-term capacity. The need that small business owners have right now, given the economic uncertainty, is exceptionally great. Most of the small business owners we support come from underserved communities, and the beauty of that is they start businesses in their community, they hire within their community, they become business leaders within their community. So there really, truly is a ripple effect. But we lack capacity as an organization to serve all of those individuals who could benefit from our programs and services. So I would invest in personnel and some technology that would enable us to scale a bit.
And that's terrific. And you're absolutely right. It's supporting our Westchester population, our entrepreneurs, great ideas. And it totally is full circle because it comes right back to the community, providing jobs, providing resources, keeping the economy fueled and moving. So wonderful, wonderful points that you're both making. And I want to ask you now, both of you, when you think about the future of your organizations, how do you measure success? And what is your vision of expanding the organization's impact in the years ahead? You've both talked about it a little bit, but why don't you expand a little bit now too? What is your measure of success?
Excuse me, I can start.
Sure.
In an ideal world, we would eventually be able to offer universal childcare in this state as well as the entire country. Other countries are doing it. Some states are starting to explore this. And, I feel like New York really should jump on that. The issue is that people seem to think that's only a governmental expense, but we really need partners in this, right? And we talked a little bit before about collaborations. So if parents and their employers and our government could all three get together and share the burden of childcare, if we could get people moving in that direction would be a measure of success for us. That's going to take a long time. It's just, even if we said tomorrow, wave a magic wand and let's make this happen, it's still going to take a long time to implement. But those small steps along the way are to keep the providers that we do have in business functioning well, relieve the stress when we can for them, help them find new customers when they need them, help any new parents find childcare. Those are the small steps that we have to be happy for every day, because at this point we can't fix an entirely broken overall system.
But it's a great goal, and it's a great start to be thinking about. Nikki, what about you? How are you measuring your organization's success?
Sure. So while we serve a lot of entrepreneurs each year, just simply measuring the number of individuals we serve is not really a mark of our success. We think a lot about outcomes and what our clients achieve. So long-term economic outcomes like hiring people, so job creation, increased revenue. I mentioned that we support a lot of small business owners in underserved communities, and people move predominantly out of the city to Westchester to come to these thriving communities. And small businesses they make up the fabric of these communities. They create vibrant, beautiful downtowns that we all know and love and live in. So we think a lot about, small business owners maintaining their position within their community, helping to contribute to the economic vitality of those communities.
Absolutely. And this is a season when people are, it's a holiday season. People are thinking about their loved ones, people that they care about, and they're trying to do thoughtful things. So it's a reminder to support your local small businesses, right?
Absolutely. And I always say you can't walk down a single downtown in Westchester County or the entire Hudson Valley region without seeing a small business owners that has been supported by WEDC in some form or fashion. So support small businesses.
Wonderful, I love that. Yep. Absolutely. Well, both of your organizations support women, whether as entrepreneurs or as childcare providers, who are also, as we've said, business owners. From your perspectives, what does our community need most right now to strengthen those opportunities for women who work, lead, and build economic stability? We've touched upon that a little bit, but I think the resources most needed now is a great thing to discuss further.
I think we're off to a good start with this collaborative effort that we're working on. So really creating this strong ecosystem of services that support the childcare industry. I'm excited for it to really, truly launch. Right now, we're still in the pre-launch stage of this collaborative effort. And then I'd like to see it expand to the entire region beyond Westchester County, because like we've mentioned many times, they're small business owners, and without proper childcare, women cannot go back to work. Women cannot start businesses. And so I really believe it's the foundation of our economy, especially right here in Westchester. If you look at the number of women, the number of dual income households, and that necessitates childcare, it's so important that we provide the childcare providers with the support they need.
Beautifully said, and it is the first step. And I also love what you were both talking about earlier. These small businesses they're born usually by or from someone's passion or a great idea. And and that can just grow into so many beautiful options and places and opportunities. So as we're entering 2026, do the two of you have anything exciting you want to talk about, or priorities that are top of mind? Laura?
Well, one thing I would add also to the prior question is that we really should start thinking more specifically for childcare. We should think of it as a family issue rather than a women's issue.
Very good point.
And so because these statistics about women dropping out of the workforce, there's that whole larger issue of why if there's a husband and a wife, which is a traditional family, but not all of them, why is the woman the one who has to stay home with the kids? And that's probably because she makes less money, and that's a whole historical thing there. So we could talk about that in another whole episode,
another podcast,
right? Going forward into 2026, it's the political climate in Washington D.C. is not favorable towards women. It is the entire system seems to be heading towards taking some steps backwards. And, for me, having been in the nonprofit sector and an advocate for social justice for so long, childcare just plays directly into that for me, because it's so much of having a negative effect more on women than men, and having the long-term progress that we've made over all these years for women's careers, my own career, it feels like it's slipping backwards. And, I'm usually not one of these big conspiracy people, but I'm getting a little worried about why people are trying to pull the rug out under childcare, because of the impacts that will have in the longer range.
Well, one thing we can do, which you're both doing very well, is spread the word. You've got these great resources here for parents who are figuring out what they are going to do next when they have young children at home, and definitely reach out to your organization,
sure,
because you've got the resources to help people make plans in terms of going back to work and how they're going to handle that. We've got about a minute left. This has been a great conversation. Thank you both. Anything you want to talk about really quickly for 2026 that you're excited about for the Child Care Council or WEDC?
Sure. I'll just say that if you are looking to make any purchases, please continue to support small business owners. They're seeing, a squeeze on their profits as we're all facing increased cost of goods and tariffs. And, families rely on these small businesses. So please support them.
Absolutely.
For the Child Care Council in 2026, we'll be moving to a new office space, and we will be setting up a beautiful child care training center for the Lower Hudson region.
Oh, that is thrilling. Wonderful news and good reminders from both of you. And thank you both for being here today and sharing your mission and sharing your story. And just as importantly, sharing what your organizations do for the residents of Westchester County. So thank you both.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows: Leadership Unleashed, What's Trending, Advocacy and Politics Unplugged, The Member Spotlight, and Nonprofit Voices of Impact. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and the prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more about the Business Council of Westchester, please go to thebcw.org.